In the natural world, there's always inconveniences and there's consequences to everything. I mean, when you live in the bush, for example, you're just going to get dirty and wet, and sometimes you just can't escape the elements in that. So you learn to adapt, because you could keep bitching about it, but it's not going to do anything. And eventually people are going to stop listening to you. And so you just have to learn to adapt. But if you had been born in the bush, if you had never known anything else, it would just be what is, right? And you would just learn to live that way. But we have a tendency to narrate all of our opinions. We have a tendency to have very concrete ideas of what should be and what shouldn't be. And I think a large part of that is just how many options we've been introduced to over our lives. I mean, the entirety of our culture is based on this idea of control. So if we're raised under the idea that you can have control, we're going to have more opinions when we don't. Especially if it's always the carrot that we're being offered, right? Like, you could have control, and when we don't, then all of a sudden immediately our brain's like, oh, this could have been better if I just had control, as everybody else keeps telling me I should. And that's when things get all, awry. Whereas if we didn't necessarily always have that carrot being offered to us, if we were modeled, or if it was modeled a little bit more consistently, that influence and alignment leads to working together, leads to less conflict, leads to more unity and more compassion, more love, let's just say, right? It gives us the ability to improve our lot for everybody. And that would be, I think, something that we would tend to look at as more of a strategy, working together. But again, with the idea of control,